Good afternoon again, everyone. Sorry for a bit of a glitch. Now we know that the sound is working in our studio. And welcome to the RigER webinars. I think first things first, I wanted to introduce the topic of today's webinar, which is, as many of you are aware, rental service agreements. So today we're going to talk specifically about this, not an overview, not any additional features, but the rental service agreement, because we know that this is an important topic to you. So we've dedicated the whole webinar to this important topic. My name is Nikolai, and you can see my picture on the screen, and I will be hosting today's webinar. So today's agenda, we are dedicating today's webinar to the RSA, Rental Service Agreements, and we're going to talk about oilfield sales and what kind of activities the sales function in the RSA allows you to perform. So you can issue a quote, you can create an agreement or contract, and you can see the whole approval process in RSA. We've also discussed the price management because it's an important part of the RSA. Prices vary depending on a client, and that's an important part, and we've dedicated a lot of effort to make sure that it works for everybody. We'll also talk about the client location and the contact information in the RSA, and we will discuss the RSA types. So today's presenters of the RSA webinar are Michael Maltsev and Gleb Kovets. So you can see their pictures on the screen. So without further ado, we'll move on to the next slide. And I'm welcoming Michael to pick up on that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to RigER webinars. Today we will talk about oilfield sales, and I will show you what we have in RigER. The main sales process design that the salesperson designed this way. Salesperson started a rental service agreement, which will have a quote and a rental agreement in it, and then send all the information to the manager for approval, this is how the rental service agreement starts. In terms of oilfield rentals document flow, we have a quote and a rental agreement as a printing form of the RSA, and rental service agreement become a major document, a main document which defined oilfield job and all the details about the job, when it should be done, the price, the quantity, quality, etc. So let's see what we have as a rental service agreement had. We have the rental service agreement number, which generated automatically, and the sequence will be the last number +1. So be careful to have enough space for that. And we usually recommend to have the prefix, which will define the RSA number, and 5 to 6 digits for after that, after the prefix. The next thing, date. Date will be the rental service agreement date. It will not be the starting of the rental period. We have a start date here, which will be the initial shipment to the field, the initial starting date for the rental period in many cases. The next thing will be a type of the rental service agreement. And we have 3 major types in RigER called acronyms OFR. It means Oilfield Rentals, Oilfield Services, OFS, and GR, General Rentals. The next field will be mobile number, and a mobile number will work if the rental service agreement generated on a mobile device. And this mobile number will have initial prefix for the user, and it will be generated in a mobile phone. However, the reason why we have 2 numbers, the mobile number because we have unsynchronized databases. Mobile number will be stored in a mobile device, and the next rental service agreement number will be generated when this mobile rental service agreement appear in a database. The next field is the status of the rental service agreement, and we will talk about status a little bit later. The status will represent the stage of the rental service agreement, at which stage we have this particular document with this particular job. And initially, the status starts from open, and when the rental service agreement approved by manager, they change status to approved. And if we have anything as open delivery tickets, the equipment in the field, then status will have, the rental service agreement will change status to active. The next field will be client, location, rig, and client, we will choose the client from the list of our clients. Location, we will choose the list from the location, and we'll talk about this down the road. Rigs, optional. Sometimes we have rig not name and number, sometimes not. So if we have a rigless environment, we can hide this field from the head of the rental service agreement. Division, this field will define the price which will apply for this particular job, and Gleb will tell a little bit more about this. And the next thing, it could be engineer, it could be contact, it could be representative. This field we call it contact, and it's customizable, so you can see, you can set up what kind of name you will see in this field, and it will be a primary contact person for this particular job. The engineer, position, email, and phone number. And start and end date will define the rental period of this particular job. And usually in 99% cases, the end date will be a blank. If we talk about tabs in rental service agreement, we have following tabs: rental equipment, service and parts, additional fee, component sales, and comments. And in the equipment, rental equipment tab, we will put all our rental equipment which we will provide to our clients. And here we will define rental per day for particular equipment. If we have a different rental period, not a day, it will be a GR type, and here we will define the rental periods, and it will be a little bit different form. The next tab, services, here we will add additional services which we put to our job. It will be a different delivery charges, any additional services which we provide to the client in the field. The next tab is an additional fee. Usually, again, it's optional fee, and we can hide it in, I would say, 50-50% cases. Clients use it, sometimes they not. And this is a conditional fee. We just notify our client that we will charge something if something will happen. So, for example, in this case, we will charge fuel per gallon for particular quantity. Components. This is another optional tab of the rental service agreement, and here we will place all the components of our combo units. If we have a complex unit or combination of the different elements bolted together or assembled together and sent to the field, then we will track those serial numbers here. Next tab, mostly for future invoicing, and if the salesperson is able to fill out this PO, EFE number, job number, any other credentials which we will use in final rental invoice, we can put it here, and they will be used in delivery tickets and rental invoice. And comments. So if we have any internal and external comments, they will be shown here. Let me show you the here. So let me show you what we have as a rental service agreement. So you can find rental service agreement in Oilfield Rentals, and the very first thing will be rental service agreement. And in the rental service agreement, we'll have a list of all different kind of types of rental service agreement. And for example, we can choose a client here, and we'll see all our clients' documents here. And when we open the rental service agreement, it will show us the client, location, rig, division, etc. And here we have rental equipment, for example, a light tower. We have delivery charge and pickup charge. There is no additional fee, no components, sales, some sales here, and different comments. It could be external comment and internal comment, and we will use external comment to post in a rental service agreement, a quote, and it will be our external communication with client, and internal communication will be shown in this internal comment. And here we have some buttons where we can see, say, post and close. We'll post equipment, rental service agreement. Save, will save it, and the difference between them that when you post it, it will generate additional records for the rental service agreement. Save it, just saving the draft of the document. And here we'll see attachments, so we can attach any additional documents for this rental service agreement. Sometimes our clients, they attach signed documents, a PDF file with signatures, the client's signatures here to future references. You can generate, based on rental service agreement, different documents. You can print different forms, print forms based on rental service agreement. It could be a quote, it could be a rental agreement. You can generate a couple invoices. So it will be a pre-invoice report or location report. Sometimes this optional report not showing in against customer configuration, and location report gives you an opportunity to see what's already in this particular location, and there is nothing here. Additionally, we will have several tabs here, which we can see and observe the information about rental service agreement. There will be attachments. We can attach any files to any documents, and it will be shown here. And we have two types of attachments. So the direct attachments, which will be connected to this particular rental service agreement, and related attachments. Related attachments means that we will have some related elements with attachments. It could be items, it could be clients, it could be location. So any additional attachments for this particular rental service agreement will be shown here. And another thing, what we can see in the rental service agreement will be document history. So the document history will show you the status of the document, who changed the status, who did it, and when it was done. And another, the last one, it's a rental service agreement and all related documents, delivery tickets, different type of documents which will can attach to generate based on this rental agreement. And we have two type of view for this rental service agreement. It will be the document tree, and it could be a list of all the documents. You can filter this by different types. Okay, let's back to presentation. We have two different print forms for rental service agreement. It will be a quote and it will be rental service agreement. They, in many cases, looks pretty much the same. The only difference between them will be a second page for the rental service agreement. The rental agreement terms and conditions, the legal terms and conditions, and client signature at the second page. And as you see, you can print this form, you can email it, save as a PDF, or save as an Excel file. And additionally, we have a rental service agreement in our mobile app, where we have pretty much the same form and same format. So you can do pretty much the same thing in a mobile app, and after that synchronize with general map. And when it's synchronized from mobile client, as I mentioned, it will be a separate number in a mobile client, which will be stored as a mobile number in a RigER database in the cloud. And a new number will be generated in the cloud, and we can have an optional notification, email notification to manager or to any other person about new job coming in. So I'd like to pass the mic to Gleb Kobits, operation manager. He will talk about price management and will explain how we manage prices in RigER.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to see you participating in our webinar. Today, I'm going to show you how the prices can be stored in the system, and RigER has pretty flexible price management system. Yeah, so in terms of price management, we have different options like price list, price agreement. We can separate prices by divisions. We can apply discounts to our price list. We can have different rental periods in our billing periods, and apply a price book, which will define the rental period and the applicable price. So two options how you can store your prices in the system. We have general price list, and we have price agreement for a specific client for a particular period of time. The rental service agreement is a framework document that defines prices for the job. So we take prices in the invoice from the rental service agreement, which are taken from the price agreement or price list accordingly. The price list generally specifies the prices for all clients that you may have in your business for all customers. And in the general price list, you will have rental per day price and the sales price. If you sell some units to your customers, you can apply sales prices. However, if you're just rent out your equipment, the rental per day price will be applied to your particular rental units or services or goods, parts, whatever it can be. So we have three options how we can fill out the price list. The first one is to add a single item in the price list, selected from the whole list of your rental equipment, and just to enter the price for this particular item. The second option is to fill out the price list by group of items. If you have the structure of your rental fleet in the system separated or just divided by different folders, for example, in the rental unit folder, you can have multiple groups like trailers or porta potties or light towers. So you will apply this group in the price list. And the third option, and probably the most applicable to most of our clients, is to fill out the price list with the entire population of your rental equipment in the system and services as well. So you just hit the fill out button and all the rental units and services will be taken from the catalog and put it in the price list. The price agreement, it's a little bit different document that specifies the prices for a particular client for a specific period of time. You can create a price agreement for the client. Let's say in this case, you can see that it's 51 Oilfield Services company, and you can specify the time range from and to. So let's say that we discussed and agreed with the customers that we will apply special prices for them from January 1st, 2017. We put this from date, and we also can close this price agreement at the specific period of time, specifying the to date. And one of the features of price agreement is actually that price agreement overrides the general price list if you apply it in rental service agreement. How you can do that? Every single time you select the client in the rental service agreement, new rental service agreement, the prices will be taken from the price agreement for this period of time instead of general price list. Discounts. You may have some discount situation in your operations when your customer requires some special prices, or it can be volume pricing based on the volume of the rental equipment that they utilize or some services. So in the price agreement itself, you can enter the discount in the discount field, hit recalculate button, and all the prices will be recalculated with a discount applied to this price agreement. You can apply discounts for single items in the price list or price agreement. So not the whole population of the rental equipment in the price agreement will be recalculated, but only those where you apply the discount. Price book and rental period. For some type of clients and some type of businesses, we can have a price book. What does it mean? For example, if you have clients mostly from the construction business, they may have different billing periods and rental periods. For example, you charge your client by days, it's one price. If you charge your client on a weekly basis or month by month, so it can be different prices reduced for some amount of percentage. So price book actually determines these basis, how much you will be charging your client based on the different rental periods. Now Michael will tell you about the client location and contact in the rental service agreement, and he will explain it in details.
Okay, so client will be shown in a client card, and the client information will be stored in the client catalog. So here we have different fields for client. We can have a billing, mailing, and shipping addresses. They could be same or they could be different. So let me show you what we have in a system in terms of client card and client notification. So here we have client list, and when we open a list of clients, we have so for clients, we need to have a flag here, which will show us that this particular company, our client vendor will be shown here, and the carrier will be shown here. So different flag for different type of the company. And because we have one catalog which we call companies, the same record could be a client, vendor, and a carrier. In terms of addresses. So we can have multiple addresses here, and we enter country, state, city, postal code or zip code, and street. So say, for example, we can edit this stuff here. And to build the entire description, we can click button here, and it will change the description and combine description for the entire for the address. Yeah. So the address will be selected in a different way. So if we have multiple divisions, all the divisions presented for this client will be shown here. And again, we have a different tabs where we can see different information about the client. We can see the client history, all the documents which are associated with a particular client. We can have a client list, a contact list, and a location list for this particular client, and price agreements if we have any specific price agreements here.
Michael, can I ask you a question regarding the different addresses? So what the difference between address of the company and location of the company?
Yeah, so location means that it's a good point, because we will come to the point about talking about location. So the address is a physical address. It could be a billing and shipping address, and in this case, we will have physical address. For location, it could be a physical location where we will put our equipment. It could be a job site, it could be a well site, it could be the camp, pipeline, lots of different locations where we can store our equipment. And for the location, we will have the zip code and the county. However, in many cases, if we talk about oil field, we will have only direction, which will define us how to get there, and longitude, latitude coordinates, which gives us an opportunity to see this location in Google Map. So moreover, location if we talk about USA and sales tax situation, the zip code or county will define a particular sales tax which we will apply for this particular location. And if we talk about Canada, it will be easy, because in Canada the province will define the taxes. Location could be active or inactive, depending on what kind of status you have. And you can run a location report, and the location report will show you what kind of equipment you have in this location right now. And if you would like to have the particular person assigned to this particular location, you can select the you can select those contacts in a location field. And if we talk about particular contacts, we can open this list of contact persons, and in a list of contact person, we will have name, company, position, and you can enter the different positions to your position list, and phone, office, mobile, or direct, and email address, and any notes about this particular person. You can have a contact person history, you can have a location history report. So everything is clear and available for the user. So let's back to the presentation and see see what we have here. Our location, again, define the place where we will store the equipment or job site or any specific location. Sometimes, and the reason why we use location mostly is for like two reasons. It will be a billing purpose, and the second will be a physically understanding where we're like very physically located our particular serial number, particular equipment. Every location can have up to 3 contacts. So this gives us an opportunity to communicate with our clients faster. And when we choose a location, the contact person will pop up here, and we can, for example, call the dispatcher can call the particular person right from here. So let's talk about different types of rental service agreement.
Okay, as Michael had already said, we have different types of rental agreement in the system. So you can have oilfield rentals, oilfield service, general rentals, and disposal operations type of rental service agreements. So as you can see on this screenshot, so in case you select the oilfield rental type of the rental service agreement, the rental equipment tab will be the first one. And for this type of RSA, the rental equipment is mandatory field and mandatory tab. So we cannot post or actually make the rental service agreement active without putting any rental equipment. If we talk about oilfield service type of rental service agreement, as you can see, the service and parts tab becomes the first one in the rental service agreement table. So the rental equipment in this case becomes the optional, and you can have 2 options: just to put the rental equipment in this type of agreement or just not. So in service and parts becomes the mandatory field, so you have to put at least 1 service or part in order to activate this rental service agreement. The third type is general rentals. General rentals mostly applicable to the construction clients operating in the construction business, because again, it applies different prices depending on the rental period and billing cycle. So as you can see, the layout of the types pretty much the same as for oilfield rentals. The only difference is the different time frames and prices for different rental periods. And give me 1 second, I'll show you in the real database how it looks like. Okay, if I create a new rental service agreement, I can switch between these tabs easily. For example, I need to provide only services for my client. In this case, I'll switch to the oilfield service type, and I just enter 1 item here. And I select the location of the client and pick up the engineer, specify the start date, and apply some price here. So as you can see, my prices are calculated, and now I'm able to post this document. Let me choose the date. So I post this document, and as you can see in the rental equipment, there is nothing. So I'm able to provide only services. However, if I create a new rental service agreement with a type of general rentals, again, I can put any equipment here. The prices are taken from the price list and price book actually. If I specify the return date, the estimated fee will be calculated, but let me choose the first one. So you see that estimated fee will be like for the 1 month, because we utilize more than 2 weeks. That's why based on the settings that you put in the price book and actually the price matrix specifies the those conditions, how many days should be in the period in order to apply a specific price. So if I have, for example, more than 14 days in the period, my monthly prices will be applied to this rental service agreement. Let me switch back to the oilfield rental. And for example, the difference between oilfield rental and oilfield services types, that if I put just a service here, and I'm trying to post this document, it shows me that, oh yeah, first of all, I need to select the location of the client. Okay, I close this and I post the document. It shows me that I have to enter the rental equipment. However, if I switch to oilfield service, this notification will not appear. Let me go back to my presentation. Okay, as a summary of this presentation, we've covered the oilfield sales process in the system in the rental service agreement. So in the rental service agreement, again, you are able to generate a quote for the client, print it out, or send it just by email. Again, you can print out the rental service agreement itself, and this will be pretty much the same print form, but with the terms and conditions on the second page and the customer signature field at the bottom. So the rental service agreement, the framework document that determines the general conditions of the job, what services and rental equipment will be used in this job, and what prices will be applied to these services and rental equipment. It's the contract for the job, so treat it as a framework document that will be used through the entire job. And again, a rental service agreement allows you to make some changes before the agreement have been approved, or there is an option to approve the rental service agreement by the general manager or sales director, and only after approval of the rental service agreement, the dispatcher will be able to generate delivery tickets and to run the job. In terms of price management, we've covered some topics about the price list and price agreement and different rental period and a price book, which determines the different prices for different rental periods. We've covered the client location and contact topics. So in the rental service agreement, you are able to create a new client and create a new location and contact for this client, or to select from the existing ones. And different RSA types, oilfield rentals, service and general rentals, determines the different type of businesses and different type of jobs that you are going to provide to your clients.
So questions, and I see a couple of questions right now.
Yeah, let me read them out. So the first question that came from Andy from San Antonio. So the question is, do all rental agreements that are in the system appear for anybody who logs into the system, or can they be somehow viewed by different groups of people? And how access, I guess, to the sensitive information, pricing information, how is it limited, or how is it organized in the system?
Yeah, good question, because definitely for different people in the system, different roles in the system, and mostly for the sales, we can limit the visibility of the documents depending on the particular person. So for example, let's say that salesperson generates a new rental agreement, and he'll be able to see only his rental agreements in the system. However, the sales director or whoever stands on top of the sales manager or salesperson will be able to see the whole list of rental agreements in order to keep the track of the sales process and to approve different agreements for different salespersons.
So what about the other roles, like, dispatcher, for example, or the field technician? So is it correct to assume that rental agreements are only visible to certain groups of roles, not to everyone across in the rental cycle?
It really depends on the organization structure of the company and visibility. For example, most of our clients, they ask us to hide prices from the field techs. And if we talk about sales, we can even connect a particular salesperson to the particular client. So this salesperson will observe the prices for this client, and this again doable. It really depends on what kind of situation, what kind of structure we have in any given client.
Okay, great, thank you. So there's a question from Melissa, and let me just read it out. Why is it that when creating a rental service agreement, we have to put an email address for the company man, or we cannot save the rental service agreement?
Not 100% sure about email. However, usually the company man is a mandatory field in many cases, because some of our clients they'd like to understand with whom the particular salesperson communicate, and the email address gives us an opportunity to send the attachments to this particular person. If you do not need this in a RigER, we can make it not mandatory field, and you can work with that.
Yeah, Melissa is just clarifying that we're having to put a dot on the email address on the contact information. We might as well just take this offline, Melissa, and we'll probably talk to you just to clarify if we exactly see what the problem is. But really appreciate your input. And again, what Michael is saying is that the system is flexible, so we can really adjust and accommodate to your needs. And if something, a field or a way that it's done is not fitting your needs or creates a trouble, we can definitely resolve that. It's a quick service call to the support desk, or if you know Michael's phone directly, you can just phone him up and we can fix it.
Just to send a request to support@rigger.ca, the email address, you just see it in the screen. And yeah, I don't think it's a big deal, because lots of clients, they have different preferences, and some of them prefer to use email, some of them prefer to use just a direct phone numbers.
Okay, good, thank you. So I have another question. This is from John, and it reads, will I be able to generate delivery ticket without RSA?
Good call, good call. The problem and relationship between rental service agreement and delivery tickets, that it could be a multiple delivery tickets with different prices for the same equipment or same service, and it will be really tough for us to figure out which price we need to apply for particular rental invoice, particular period of time. And in this case, we recommend to use only rental service agreement to define the price, and this price will be used in rental invoice. The reason, and that is why we use rental service agreement and a delivery ticket, and they're separate documents, because it could be a multiple delivery tickets. We have a couple examples with several clients with very complex operations, and they have a 20 different delivery tickets per job, and it's really tough to track all the prices based on the delivery ticket. Moreover, we consider the rental contract or rental service agreement as a primary document where you negotiate the price with client. So short answer for the question, in some cases, yes, but we not recommend to do that.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Thank you very much. And like I said before, if you have any other questions, do let us know, either through chat or through the email or the phone. We're always on call for you. I have another question from Andy, and this one is just to clarify on the types of the different rental agreements. So you said that there is an Oilfield Rentals, and there's also Oilfield Services, but I've seen in the presentation that if you open an OFS or Oilfield Services rental agreement, you can still add the rentals. wouldn't it be easier then for us to use the Oilfield Services rental service agreement to run our service agreements, just in case we may need to add some service and the rental equipment? So it's just kind of multi-purpose rental service agreements. Is that correct, or should I be specifically using rental service for the rentals or the rental services specifically as a separate agreement?
No, definitely both types of these rental service agreements allows you to put services and rental equipment. However, if your primary business operations lies in the service area, so you provide mostly the services to the clients, yes, we recommend you to use oilfield service type of the rental service agreement. And the rental equipment will be actually optional in this case. So either you can put it or not. However, you have to remember that in the oilfield rentals type of agreement, the rental equipment is mandatory. So you cannot put only services in the OFR type and just to provide the service with this agreement. You have to put at least one item in the rental equipment.
Okay.
And
Thank
actually, it's more, depending on the nature of the service you provide. If you prefer to use OFS or instead of OFR, it's totally good. The problem is that even service, like even rentals, can be considered as a service. So some of our clients, they consider service as a rental, like a rental operation as a service. So in this case, it's pretty much the same thing. However, if your primary nature of the deal is a rental equipment, then we like to use a rental service agreement type oilfield rentals. If it's primary the service and optional rentals, in this case, use rental service agreement. However, there is no big difference between them.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Let me check if I have any more questions. I think we are.
I see one question from John, and he's asking about division pricing and how to set up the division price. And I guess we need to cover this as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good question. And so divisions were designed to separate the different businesses, different type of businesses that you deal with. So, for example, if you provide the services or rental equipment to construction clients, you can have specific prices for them for one unit. So, for example, let's say light tower provided to the construction clients will have one price. However, for the oil field operations, the price for this light tower will be a little bit different.
And we're showing an example of that. Is that right?
Yeah. So here we have a division, and we can put several divisions for, say, for example, for Encana, and say we have clients who differentiate division by industry, like construction, completion, drilling, or it could be dividing by, if you have a very wide operations, could be divided by region, say Colorado, Oklahoma, West Texas, South Texas. So really depends on what kind of relationship you have with a particular client. And division gives you an opportunity to use a different prices for different part of your relationship with client.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for example, if we can open the rental price agreement, and you can see that for the particular client, we can select the division and the price will be applied to this division when we select this client in the rental service agreement. So you can more flexible manage your prices for different clients and different divisions.
Thank you guys. I think just to summarize that, John, for you, divisions is another way to organize your pricing information and apply it across a range, whether you select it by a location or area of your business or an industry. So just yet another way, I guess, to more efficiently operate the pricing information and apply the pricing information to different groups of your equipment rentals or services business. Okay, I think on that note, we're gonna wrap up. Keep sending us questions over the support email, as you can see it on the screen, or any other way that you have the phones or other emails that you may have on file for us. We really appreciate your time, guys. Thank you very much. It was a very important topic for us. So we hope that we're going to see you next time. We will announce what the next webinar will be. It's weekly on every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Time and 12 Mountain Time. So thank you.
Next time we will talk about the implementation process. So step-by-step implementation in RigER. And yeah, please welcome. If you will have any specific questions which we'd like to cover during our webinars down the road, just let us know, and we will prepare the specific topic for that. And thank you so much to join us today and being with us. If you have any issues, questions, just feel free to call us or drop us an email. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thank you.